That will go long. 4 quick points. And a service break for the #1 seed out here on court #1 as Sampras now leads 5 games to 4 in the 3rd set.
2 sets to love.
Those are the kind of games you love as a serve returner, don't you, John?
Well, yeah, I mean, Sebastian Grosjean there really hung in well that set. And then to lose that game that way, a double fault and 2 unforced errors in 2 points to go down love 40. That was a pity to lose that game that badly. He didn't really go for it. Really played some negative shots.
And, you know, throughout the match, this kid really has looked like he's improved each game. And all of a sudden, he plays the worst game of the match for him. I think that's a real good sign of inexperience.
That's right. And that's something that he'll take out of this match when he does his homework and sits down with his coach.
Well, this match now, almost 3 sets old. Let's have a look at the overall analysis.
Time.
Well, we see this little 49% first service there from Sampras. Again, he'd like to improve that, definitely, but I think as the class of opponent gets better, he will do. Unforced errors a lot more than he would like, but again, you know, he's playing against a player that he knows he can go for a lot of balls with. And winners is okay. Service games lost, it's only 1.
So now Pete Sampras serving for this match out here on court #1. 5-4, 3rd set. He's up 2 sets to love.
Wait, please. $30 love.
Beautiful serve there from Sampras.
Ace number 13. So now Sampras at triple match point. 1 point away from a berth in the quarterfinals.
There it is. Sampras. 6-3.
Ace number 14, John, and Sampras looking very strong in that last service game.
Very comfortable.
And so Pete Sampras with 8 points in a row closes out this match out here on court #1. A straight set win over the qualifier, Sebastian Grosjean from Marseille, France. Sampras 6-3, 6-4, and 6-4.
So Sampras dispatches the former World Junior Champion Happy Gilmore lookalike. Will he finally play a seeded player in the next round? No, he plays the winner of the match between Jason Stoltenberg and Mark Philippoussis, both of Australia. Neither one seeded. It'll be the semifinal at least before Sampras has to play a seeded player. Goran Ivanisevic plays Todd Martin on court 13. Ivanisevic has won 5 of the previous 8. They've split their 2 meetings at Wimbledon, and as we arrive, it's Goran up 2 sets to 1, 4-all in the 3rd. Ivanisevic serving, and I'll be calling this match for you along with Barry McKay. And I said the 3rd, I mean the 4th set. Ivanisevic took the 1st set and the 2nd, and then Martin came back to take the 3rd.
Good 2-hander down the line by Todd Martin. And we said earlier, Jim, would Todd Martin try to vary things, move back and forth? So far, he has not varied too much out here. Ivanisevic continuing to bomb that first serve.
$15 all.
Martin very slow there, moving to his left.
26-year-old Goran Ivanisevic against 27-year-old Todd Martin. Todd will be 28 next week.
$15-30.
Well, a chance here for Martin. Again, court 13, that crowd right on top of the action. 12 feet between that double sideline and where those folks are standing.
30 all.
It's appropriate that we arrive here with the score 4-4, Barry, because Ivo had 44 aces in his last match.
Not too bad. There's
40,
another one.
30.
Jim, what he is doing very well in this tournament this year, Ivanisevic, is serving well when he's down. He's coming through very strong on, 15, 30 points, 30, 40 points. That's when it really helps to bomb that first serve in.
Well, and he more than any other player will go for the second serve ace when necessary, and he's been able to pull that one out on several occasions as well. So Ivo holds here, takes the 5-4 advantage in set number 4, and we sneak over to court 2 to take a look at the two Aussies. Jason Stoltenberg was a semifinalist a couple of years ago, and Mark Philippoussis, rising star who struggled so badly in the first 6 months of this year that he thought about giving it up. Fourth set also here. Philippoussis up 5-3 and 30-15. So Mark Philippoussis is 2 points away from putting Jason Stoltenberg out of the draw.
And the big question on Philippoussis is, can he maintain the concentration? A lot of people saying that mentally he is not as strong as he should be, but so far he's looked very tough out here.
Well, he knocked out Kafelnikov in the first round of the tournament a week ago Monday and has been playing excellent ball ever since. And now here's double match point for Mark Philippoussis. A win over Stoltenberg, a grass court veteran with a lot of savvy and a very consistent game, would be a big confidence builder for Philippoussis. There it is. Philippoussis shows his overpowering serve to ace Stoltenberg out of the tournament.
5-7, 6-1,
And for the first time ever, Philippoussis goes as far as the quarterfinal. He'll play Sampras. Played him a couple of years ago here in a much celebrated match on center court. A lot of people thought that one was going to be close after Philippoussis had earlier in the year upset Sampras in Australia. But here, when they played, Pete blew him away in straight sets. And now let's go back to the Goran Ivanisevic Todd Martin match. Martin now serving from the far end at 4-5 in the fourth, trying to stay in the match.
Northwestern University, good solid Midwestern stock, and the variety in his game has been the problem, Jim. You can sort of pick where he's going to serve after you get playing in a match with Todd Martin. You almost know which side he's going to go to, and Ivanisevic has started to return serve very well.
Double fault for Martin there. Well, as you look at Todd, you'll remember that he made the semifinal in 1994, lost to his good friend and golfing buddy, Pete Sampras. Then in 1996, he made the semifinal again, was favored to beat Malavia Washington.
Should have won the match. Jim was up 5-1. Who will ever forget that match? I'm sure Todd Martin will never forget it.
The match which will haunt him the rest of his career. He squandered a 5-1 lead in the fifth set against Washington, and Washington went on into the final to lose to Richard Krajicek.
Another look here. Watch how Martin really closes in on that forehand volley. He's about 2 feet away from the net as he knocks that ball off, because Ivanisevic does not lob very often. You can really close in against him.
Game, Martin.
Well-timed ace there, and Martin stays in the match at 5-all in the fourth. Now Ivanisevic will try to be the first to get to 6, prowling toward the possible tie break. Talked about how Martin becomes a little predictable during the course of a match.
That's that's worked against him out here, because Ivanisevic on that two-handed return is very solid, and he has gotten a lot of balls at Martin's feet as Todd's tried to come in behind the serve. Just like that against Ivanisevic.
Another problem for Martin, of course, absence of mobility related to his 6'6" frame.
I can relate to that. On this surface, I'll tell you, if you're over 6'4" and you start going in one direction, it is really tough to change directions. One of the guys who does it the best, Pete Sampras.
Well, and of course, Pete, despite how rangy he appears to be on court and the big serve and the long arms, is listed at only 6'1".
Touchy.
Opportunity point.
Touch off.
And I think a lot of more players should do that against Ivanisevic, Jim. He has a tendency to really get into a fast motion, fast points on his own serve. And you saw Martin there just walk around, try and slow him down a little bit.
Because, among other things, if he's rushing you through and firing those aces with machine gun pace, it gets demoralizing.
Touchy.
There's a huge double fault by Ivanisevic. Sets up a breakpoint opportunity for Martin. If Todd can convert this, and he'll serve for the set with a chance to go to 5 sets. And they played a 5-set match here back in 1993, won by Martin. There's the equalizer.
Right down the center, his favorite spot.
Cheers.
The Evo signature at Wimbledon over the years. The clutch ace when he needs it.
Advantage, Ivanisevic.
Ivanisevic was one of the quickest deliveries. He gets up to that ball. So many people remember the Roscoe Tanner left-handed serve, 1976 against Bjorn Borg.
Low toss.
Absolutely. Quick. Oh, that's a great return. Martin just anticipates that ball. Another look here, and you can see Todd Martin. He just bunts that ball back, uses the speed of the Ivanisevic serve, takes the pace off the ball. Great angle.
Advantage, Ivanisevic.
Nearly knocks the scoreboard down behind Todd Martin. I don't believe it. There's a new shot.
Loses the point anyway.
Watch this one, folks. Ivanisevic gets caught between the legs.
Cheers.
Martin comes in, lines it up down the line. Don't try that on a Sunday morning unless you've had about 4 Bloody Marys.
What's in a Bloody Mary, Barry?
Not sure. Oh, double fault.
Advantage, Martin.
Second time that Evo has double faulted to give Martin a break point.
These are big points, Jim. If I were Martin now, I would move back about 10 feet right here. I'd show him a different look right here on a big point. Well, he's back about 3 feet. Well, here's a big opportunity. Second serve. Oh, misses the return. And Jim, that second serve, you're not going to get a better opportunity against Ivanisevic than right there.
Just don't get many chances like that.
He took a lot of pace off that second serve.
He's had 2 breakpoint opportunities.
Advantage, Martin.
third time that Ivanisevic has double-faulted Martin into a breakpoint opportunity. Sooner or later, you figure Todd has to convert one of these. Then, of course, it would be up to Ivo to try to break back to avoid losing the set.
Cheers.
And he comes down the center. And it's just that split second with a player on the baseline. I really feel he should back up on that huge point. You can see Martin taking some extra time, but back up about 3 feet behind the baseline.
Advantage, Ivanisevic.
You could feel that one coming. So now Ivanisevic, who has lived dangerously in this particular game, closes it out. Gets to 6-5 in the fourth. And now the pressure shifts to Martin, as Todd will have to serve to try to stay in the match.
Leads 6 games to 5.
They change over here, and we go to our Wimbledon memory on this day at Wimbledon. Ken Rosewall against Cliff Ritchie, 1971. You remember this one, Barry?
I sure do. Here is Cliff Ritchie, who was a real scrapper, but one of the classiest players right here, Kenny Rosewall, from the far court. Rosewall had been in the finals here 3 times. Look at that backhand volley. Ritchie, a scrambler. Talk about reflexes. Great point from Ritchie. Now Cliff Ritchie, who had won the first 2 sets in this match and had Rosewall in real trouble. You want to see a great backhand and a tremendous volleyer, Kenny Rosewall. Watch the overhead. Deep backhand from Rosewall. And this, a tough overhead. Ritchie scrambles. He gets it. Another scramble. Watch this one. Into the open court. One of the best of all times. Rosewall won it in 5, Jim.
They called him Muscles for obvious reasons. Muscles is still around. Played in a seniors match on court number 12 today.
He is indeed a great player and one of the best Wimbledon players of all times, never to have won this championship.
Still nails the backhand.
Backs the two-hander, open court.
15 love.
Now, if Martin had been able to watch Rosewall there at this point in the match, he might have picked up a couple pointers. Rosewall, one of the best return of servers of all times. Smart play from Ivanisevic. He moved around, hit the big swinging forehand right at the feet of Todd Martin. That's his best return off the forehand. Most dangerous side. Ooh.
30-15.
Well left. I'm remembering that Rosewall, in his last shot at the big prize here, was victimized in 1974 by one of the hottest performances ever in the final.
Jimmy Connors.
Jimmy Connors just blew Rosewall away on a day when a lot of people were hoping and praying that Muscles could finally get it.
40-15.
Yeah. And did the same later that year at the U.S. Championships. They played in the finals, and again, it was all Connors. Connors, one of the few players to have Rosewall's number, I'll tell you, through the years.
2 chances now for Martin to get into the tiebreak with Ivanisevic.
No.
Game, Martin.
There it is. So Ivo gets to 6. Martin gets to 6.
6 games
Ivanisevic up 2 sets to 1. Martin needs to win the tiebreak to extend the match into a 5th set.
I was a little surprised, Jim, that they put this match on court 13, quite frankly. I thought it would either be on 1 or perhaps that new court 18, but a lot more spectators can be out here on 13, and I'm sure that's the reason.
Well, in this year, more than in any preceding year I can remember, Barry, Ivanisevic has rooters, fan support.
Yeah.
Lots of people who want to see him get it done for the same sentimental reasons that people were rooting for Rosewall in '74. Ivo has now reached the point where most serious pundits in the sport have given up on any chance of him winning this And this is by far his best chance to win a Grand Slam championship.
Could be his last.
Martin starts out on top in the tiebreak.
1-all.
Check it, 1-all.
Again, Martin continuing to go to that forehand. I think a big mistake, Jim, because Ivo much
2-1.
more dangerous
Ivanisevic.
off the forehand return side.
Fascinating stat to this moment in the match, Barry. Martin has more aces than Ivanisevic.
Very unusual. Too short.
Unusual, but a mark of how many balls Martin has been getting to.
3-1. Ivanisevic.
Ivanisevic now with the 3-1 lead in the tiebreak, though, after the blown Martin volley, and good play there. Now Ivo taking extra time. That's rare.
Very unusual. I'll tell you, you never see him slow down before he serves. It's almost like his rhythm, Jimmy. Steps up to that line and it's going very quickly.
4-1.
Very deep second serve. Ivo's concentration at a high level here.
Ivanisevic.
Putting some distance between himself and Martin in the tiebreak, and now the pressure really mounts on Todd Martin.
This is where you have to make a decision. Do you take a little off your first serve, down 1-4, or do you just keep firing away? I think he'll fire away. He does. They had plenty of time on that shot, Jim.
4-2.
I'm surprised he didn't get cross
Ivanisevic.
court. He sprints around the far side of the net, doesn't go on the umpire's side.
Ivo hitting a ground rule double down the line. That baby was deep.
Oh, this is great. That's a sensational point. Martin missed a bit of an opportunity early to put it away. Another look. Big roundhouse cross court. And now a wide open court as Martin slips.
5-2.
Oh, a bad break for
Ivanisevic.
Todd Martin. Although it was set up with that cross court forehand, no question about it.
Five 5-2 in the tiebreak.
That was one of the best volleys he's hit the entire match, Jim. Tremendous lunging backhand volley from Goran Ivanisevic on a major point.
6-2, Ivanisevic.
And Ivanisevic with 4 match points now. Uphill task for Todd Martin. Must win the next 4 points to stay in the match.
Tries the drop volley on match point.
Wins by 3 sets to 1, 7-6, 6-3.
And a warm
3-6,
congratulations
and
at the net
7-6.
from Todd Martin to Goran Ivanisevic. 2 warriors who have spent a lot of time going at each other over the years. And you can almost hear Martin saying, Ivo, keep playing like that. You've got a shot, big guy. In the quarterfinal, the Croatian star takes on Jan Simmerink, the Dutchman, also a left-hander. It would be a huge upset if Simmerink were able to knock out Ivanisevic. Possible semifinal against Krajcek if the 9th-seeded Dutchman Krajcek can win 2 matches in his bottom section of the draw. So now let's get a look at Krajicek, the 1996 champion, as Barry and John Lloyd called it earlier on center court.
Wayne Ferreira in the near court. 1996 Wimbledon champ. Right here, Richard Krajicek, the number 9 seed, leading 2 sets to love on center court. Wow. Krajicek looking very confident, John.
Krajicek held this ball so well. You can see the slight miss that he got here, but here he takes his time, waits for Ferreira to commit himself, and then hits the little lob into the empty court.
Some players just have an affinity for grass, and I think Richard Krajicek is one of those guys. He's real at home on this surface. Ferreira, you saw him there jumping out of the way of that ball. If that ball hits him in the air while he's behind the baseline, he loses the point, and that ball was starting to fade towards him. Solid serve from Ferreira out wide. What do you think's kept Ferreira from being a Grand Slam winner at one point? A lot of people thought he was the up-and-comer 6-7 years ago, John.
I think he's wasted a lot of talent, to be honest. But how casual was that? Ferreira, in my opinion,
40-30.
a beautiful all-round game. As you see this forehand. And how about that for lazy footwork?
That looked like a cricket shot.
Yeah.
Leg before wicket. Wow, that was a strange-looking shot.
Again, Ferreira.
So Wayne Ferreira, hold serve. Wasted talent on Ferreira's part.
Ferreira leads.
See, he's up 5-3 in the third set, but yes, he doesn't have very good practice habits. He's not a very hard worker, and he's got all the talent in the world. And I think he had the ability to have been a possible Grand Slam winner, and I think he's wasted a lot of that ability.
I first saw him play in Memphis, Tennessee, John, and I could have sworn he was going to win a big tournament within the next 12 months, and just never did.
Well, his highest ranking was number 6 in 1995, and he should have been higher than that. As you see there, 7 double faults for Ferreira, 6 for Krajicek.
Thought he had it. A little smile at the linesman. Ooh, that was close. 15 all.
And we see again that easy service motion of Richard Krajicek. Looks like he could serve that speed all day long and not get tired. No effort involved in it whatsoever.
I think Krajicek and Sampras, perhaps the easiest motions. Like you say, they could just serve for 3 or 4 hours at a time and never have a problem because he moves his weight in so well.
Oh, nice return there from Ferreira. Richard Krajicek, he loves the courts when they're like this, when they're a bit heavy and a bit greasy. He likes it when the balls are heavy because he can really hit through the ball. To him, it doesn't matter whether the balls are heavy or not. He can still hit these big serves.
40-30.
Center court relatively calm. No swirling wind out on this court today.
Second service.
Yeah, crowd like that.
A little whistle as he hits one behind the back.
Oh, that's a firm volley from Richard Krajicek.
Ferreira leads 5 games to 4.
So Krajicek now down 4-5, but up 2 sets to love. Still to come at the 1998 Wimbledon, the sensation, number 7 seed on the women's side, Venus Williams, We'll see her trying to win her first Wimbledon title. I think she has a chance. A pensive Richard Krajicek. Got to be figuring, how can I get back in this set and try and close it out in 3 straight.
He's playing against a tough opponent today. Wayne Ferreira, good all-round grass court player. One of the best returner servers in the game today, Wayne Ferreira. And he's a dangerous opponent because if his mind is on, then he's a tough person to beat.
Were you surprised, John, in 1996 when Krajicek won this championship?
Very surprised. But he demolished the field. And he was brilliant that year, absolutely brilliant.
Got some breaks with the draw, which we're seeing again this year. The bottom half of the draw definitely opening up for both Krajicek and Ivanisevic. Big opportunity there. Lots of time on that ball. Goes for too much. Now Ferreira 3 points away from a set. Wayne Ferreira almost looks casual on that serve. I mean, he just kind of goes through the motion. You don't feel like he's really trying to get a lot of weight into it.
Oh. What a marvelous forehand there from Richard Krajicek. And Ferreira does everything right in this point here with this backhand. I mean, a beautiful shot down the line. And look at that return cross-court clean winner.
Wow. Oh, not again. Identical shot. Krajicek.
Well, this is shot making at its best once again here from Krajicek. Out wide. And look at the angle he gets and the speed he gets off this forehand. Oh, beautiful racket head work there from Richard Krajicek.
Ferreira now in some trouble trying to hold that serve, and Krajicek hitting 2 brilliant shots cross court. Oh. We're seeing some beautiful tennis out here at the moment.
Well, Ferreira having to come up with a huge ground stroke there to win that point because once again, Richard Krajicek unleashed that big bombing forehand.
Still break point for Krajicek, 30-40.
That was a well-placed serve there from Ferreira, but you know, a couple of games previously, I saw Ferreira holding his stomach, and it looks to me like he may have pulled his stomach muscle because he doesn't look like he's serving at full pace right now.
You're right. I mentioned, John, he looks very casual on the serve, like he's not getting him behind, and I think you're absolutely right. Ooh. Let cord.
That's just a high standard point there. Good caliber tennis there. Every shot being played in that rally there, Barry. Slice, overspin, different paces.
Ferreira.
Good approach shot from Ferreira.
So Wayne Ferreira now at set point. Down 2 sets to love. Trying to get into this match. Second serve. Oh, and a double fault. Oh, what a time for a double fault, trying to...
Didn't look like he really got up for that, though. It looked to me again, he's not really reaching up anymore on that serve.
is amazing. That's long.
Well, you don't see Richard Krajicek. You don't think of him as being a defensive player, but boy, did he play good defensive tennis to stay in that rally. And you can see that point, how he hooked that in. And ends up winning the point here. Again, gets that slice down, and Ferreira misses the approach shot.
Smart shot from Krajicek, cross court there, I thought. So now Richard Krajicek with a chance to break and get even at 5 games all.
Wow, Richard Krajicek, 4 out of 11 there, break points opportunities. Like to win more of those.
Oh, yes.
Boy, got to hit an outright winner in this game to win a point. Oh, unbelievable forehand from Ferreira. Oh.
You talk about high-quality tennis. Watch this shot from Ferreira.
Almost no chance to recover. If he hadn't hit a winner off that ball, he was gone.
No.
Advantage Krajicek.
Or Ferreira questioning that call wide, but looked like it was definitely wide of the sideline. And so once again, Krajicek with a chance to break.
Net. First service.
And so Richard Krajicek, one of the best games we've seen this entire fortnight from both players. Very high-quality tennis out here on center court. The number 9 seed breaks. We are at 5 games all.
5 games all.
You just don't see much better points in one game, John, than we just saw right there.
Quiet, please.
Superb tennis from both players.
Krajicek ready to start. Something bothering him over to the right.
See how far Ferreira is behind that baseline to return serve. Krajicek there a little bit off balance with that forehand volley.
Net.
Let first serve.
First service.
Krajicek didn't see a let call there. He just...
Is he looking for the net court judge, perhaps? Where is that guy with his finger on the net? I miss him.
Yeah, I think the All England club is saving the budget a little bit this year.
There you saw some good quick hands from Krajicek. Good eye. That ball about 6 inches over the baseline. How often you see a player let that ball go. That sinking feeling as it drops in. Agassi had that happen to him several times.
No, that's that beautiful swinging serve from Krajicek.
30-15.
There we see the difference. 13 aces already for Krajicek, only 4 for Ferreira.
Net.
Just catches the net.
Second service.
Now, if you weren't playing nets, that's the kind of a net call that you could play without any trouble.
30 all.
Quiet crowd out on center court. You could hear a pin drop out here at the moment.
Oh, and Krajicek got away with that backhand volley there. That was a little bit of a push.
40-30.
And it sat up, and Ferreira had a lot of time to do it. He could have actually lobbed there. He had 3 options at least. And hit it in the top of the net. Big opportunity wasted there for Wayne Ferreira.
No call. Ferreira just walks to the side. And so Richard Krajicek holds. He is 1 game away, leading 6-5 and by 2 sets to
6
love.
games to 5, third set, and by 2 sets to love.
Well, at 5-3 in the second, let's look back now as Krajicek had the set, was leading 5-3 against Ferreira. And suddenly the knee of Richard Krajicek, which he says he's going to have operated on at the end of this season. Oh, boy, you could see it, John. Very tough fall for Krajicek.
It's just amazing, once again, how many times we've seen that this week. And you can see there.
Oh, boy, you could see it twist right as he came forward. This is Bill Norris. The trainer was out on center court checking that right knee out. Oh, boy, that was really an obvious twist. Well, that was at 5-3 in the second set, and now we're back as Krajicek now leading 6-5. Obviously, John shook off that injury. Boy, that did not look good at the time.
But as we've seen in these games, last few games there, Krajicek's had great mobility around the court, particularly on the baseline where he ran down some of those big forehands. So I think maybe the knee was a bit of a scare at the beginning there, but I think now it's okay.
Actually, I think you feel that Ferreira's stomach giving him more trouble than Krajicek's knee at the moment.
Looks to me like he's still only serving at 3/4 pace.
15 love. Net. Second service.
That was too casual there from Wayne Ferreira. He didn't disguise his shot. Look how much it went too high over the net there. It gave enough chance for Krajicek to chase that ball down. Good racket head control there from Krajicek. Did well to stop himself there as well.
$15-30.
I think the stomach definitely giving him trouble on the serve. That's, as you stretch up, very tough. Coming up, the number 7 seed, Venus Williams, against Virginia Rana Pascal of Spain. Venus Williams, a lot of interest, and again,
30 all.
Ferreira holding his stomach muscle again there. You can see he's really grimacing now after these serves.
oh, it stays in. Krajicek knows he got away with murder. Yeah, a little racket frame on that one.
Not a lot of string on that shot, Barry, but a lot of graphite there. Gives him match point as well.
And now the 96 champion at match point. That's it.
Game 7 match Krajicek. 6-3, 6-3, 7-5.
And so Richard Krajicek on center court, the number 9 seed. An impressive 3-set win over the South African Wayne Ferreira. 6-3, 6-3, and 7-5.
Another victory for the Flying Dutchman, playing sensational tennis just as he did in 1996. And he will play the winner in the quarterfinal of the match between David Sanguinetti and Francisco Clavet of Spain. You'll remember Clavet. He's the guy who knocked out Marcelo Rios of Chile last week on court number 2. Incidentally, you saw Richard Krajicek go down for the count and look at his injured knee during that match. He pulled out of a grass court preparatory tournament in Rosmalen, Holland a week ago to rest the knee and be sure that he'd be able to play here at Wimbledon. And after the match today, he told our Zina Garrison in the interview room that he's very concerned about that knee, hasn't had an injury like it before, sometimes gets a sharp pain, has no idea whether it will bother him in the quarterfinal round or not. Of course, he's hoping that it won't. Meanwhile, Krajicek is, as you know, the only man since 1992 to have defeated Pete Sampras here at Wimbledon. That streak continued today as Sampras easily disposed of French qualifier Sébastien Grosjean. Straight sets, meaning that Pete continues through the tournament without the loss of a set. And he did only what was necessary on court number 1 to eliminate young Grosjean. Didn't really stretch himself all that much. After the match, Sampras looked ahead to his match with Mark Philippoussis and spoke with our Zina Garrison in the interview room.
Is your experience against someone like Philippoussis that hasn't been there before going to help you?
Well, I don't know much experience really plays that much of a role in the quarterfinals. If it was the final, sure, I mean, that helps. But, you know, he's playing well. He's on a pretty good roll. And he's beaten me before, so he's confident. I'm sure he's going to want to beat me, but I feel like I played him pretty well over the past couple times, and I beat him at Davis Cup. But grass is a completely different surface, and he's going to be serving some big bombs. We just have to stay patient with him. He's going to hit his aces. He's going to hit his great shots. Just need to hang in there.
Are you going to try to come in more than him?
Well, I'm not going to have a choice to, you know, in my return games. I mean, he's going to be coming in. It's just going to be a question of how I return, you know, especially a second serve, make him play, make him volley, and just try to hold on to my serve. And that's really the key for me. I mean, that's the key to being successful on the grass. Is just getting that return down, making these guys volley, and hold on to serve, and that's really it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sampras and his supposed absence of personality are at the heart of an ongoing discussion this year about the difference in entertainment value between women's tennis and men's tennis. Because the women are presently getting more attention, the subject of mixed tournaments in which both men and women play together is a hot one on the tournament circuit this year. For more, here's our Frank DeFord with a Wimbledon report.
It wasn't so many years ago that women's tennis was about as popular as men's striptease. But hey, you never know. First the full Monty started packing them in, and now women's tennis is so chic that the men have made overtures to the ladies to please start playing more mixed tournaments with us. It's hard to even find a red-blooded guy who doesn't want more double dating.
That's what the game needs to get all the players together, and, you know, obviously the Grand Slams, that's kind of the main focus, but to have Palm Springs, Lipton, Rome, Hamburg, and get the men's and ladies, the media would be a little bit more into it, and I think it'd be really good for the game.
You got to think about the spectators. You got to think about, you know, what they want, and it's a nice balance when you go out there and you see two big hitters, and then you see a real, you know, thought-out, strategic women's match.
Even if more and more people are for the concept of a few more mixed major tournaments like Wimbledon, logistics are a problem. You need a site with more courts and larger facilities, a sponsor which markets to men and women alike, and the potential to make more money at one tournament than what currently is being made at two. But also,
the ladies should do what's to their advantage and not just because, hey, we can play with the men.
That means that the women who've been split by mean infighting are now more unified behind their new WTA Tour CEO, Bartlett McGuire, and are looking for equality as the price for tournament union.
We have to make sure that if we do combine more events, there are fair terms for the women, prize money, center court appearances, television appearances, practice facilities, locker room facilities. There are a lot of issues that have to be addressed.
The women suddenly have almost all the stars in the charm.
In Grand Slam after Grand Slam over the last year and a half, the women have stood up very favorably, and indeed more favorably, at the French Open this year. The waiting for the women's final was substantially higher than the combined rating of the men's final and the mixed doubles final.
And of course, one more attraction. Mixed doubles isn't just business.
There's a lot of cross-tour dating going on right now, which I'm, by the way, not participating in. It seems like the players may be very supportive of you know, bringing some of the major tournaments together.
That wouldn't be too bad, you know. Some action.
Of course, one of the reasons for all the talk about women's tennis this year, the success of the Williams sisters, 17-year-old Venus and 16-year-old Serena. You were with us yesterday and saw Serena Williams retire from her match against Virginia Ruano of Spain, and this is Serena today playing mixed doubles with her partner Max Munya of Belarus. Now, the significance of this is that Serena yesterday, when she retired from her singles match, was apparently unaware of the rule which stated that if she had a doubles match scheduled on the same day and retired from a singles match, she would be automatically defaulted from the doubles. She wanted to play her women's doubles match yesterday, but was told by the WTA that she could not do so. The sight of her playing today in mixed doubles makes more popular around here a question that's been going around for 24 hours. Did she retire from the match against the Spaniard because she was hurt and her calf muscle was bothering her? Or did she retire because she was down 7-5, 4-1 and didn't want to complete the match as a loser? That's an open question to which we'll probably never know the real answer, although Serena stated clearly in her post-match news conference yesterday that her calf muscle was bothersome enough that she felt she ought to worry about her future. That leaves older sister Venus as the only Williams sister in the draw, and ironically, of course, her opponent today is Pascual of Spain, the same woman who banished her younger sister yesterday. The match was on court two. Let's go to Mary, Billie Jean, and Martina.
Opening moments of this fourth-round match between Venus Williams and Virginia Ruano Pascual. Williams to serve first. Virginia Ruano Pascual is the Spaniard, a 24-year-old who knocked out Serena Williams in the last round. A swift baseliner, Pascual, going up against the owner of the game's biggest serve in the history of women's tennis, a 125-mile-an-hour serve clocked 2 rounds ago by Venus Williams. Nice movement from Pascual, gets it past Venus Williams.
15-30.
This year's 7th seed.
Venus really forced to come to the net here off the drop shot. Not quite. That first step with her left foot was in instead of out. Awkward shot though.
A break point for Virginia Ruano Pascual. For all of the huge power off of the Venus Williams serve, she does not consider herself to be a serve and volley player. Huge serve, and she stays back. And she ends up winning the point. Back to deuce.
Venus has certainly perfected that little chip forehand and has used it very effectively this year. I like to see that. She's adapting to the surface, because the surface dictates so much of what you can and cannot do.
Let's first serve.
And on grass, remember, the ball bounces lower. You have to get down, and you got to get your racket face down below the ball as well.
Advantage, Miss Williams.
Good body jam earns Venus Williams a game point.
The men use that body serve a lot more than the women. Women seem to use it in doubles, but not in singles. I don't know. That's a very underused shot in the women's game.
Game, Miss Williams.
Had the point won, but Venus Williams escapes and hangs on to her first service game.
First game.
But maybe women don't use the body serve as much because they don't hit the serve that hard or with that much pace. And if you don't have the pace on the ball, if it's a body serve, obviously the other player has time to get around the ball and hit it.
That's true, and it gets right into their power zone if you don't hit it right.
Exactly.
As you said, you can get around it. Of course, you see Venus. I always feel like she's going to take out another racket and check out the tone.
Look at Virginia Ruano-Pascal's road to the round of 16. Andre Glass, the only set she lost. The rest of the match is fairly comfortable. Of course, Serena Williams hampered by that hurt something between her knee and her ankle, whether it's the calf or a ligament, not really sure yet.
Called a calf strain when it happened to Serena Williams yesterday.
But Zina Garrison and I were talking, and we thought if it's really a calf strain, you should not be able to run forward and stop the way Serena was able to do.
Especially when it was in a straight line.
Yeah, exactly. She could run forward but not sideways. So that led us to believe that it's more of a ligament on the side of the leg underneath the knee rather than a muscle.
A couple of times now, Pascual sitting right on the net with the easy one and blowing it.
She's taking her eye off the ball. She keeps looking where Venus is going to run or where she's leaning.
15-30.
Trying for too much.
Isn't that also the Venus factor, how intimidating this woman is on the other side of the net?
Yes, powerful, extremely quick around the court.
And very noisy hair.
Left first serve.
The bead noise.
$15-40. $30-40. Left first serve. Game is Williams.
So Williams with the break. And now a two-love lead.
Miss Williams leads 2 games.
Incredible amount of firepower off the ground, as well as on the serve of Venus Williams.
Look Look how she stays over her feet, Mary. Beautiful. Head still, dynamic body. Terrific racket speed as well.
Venus mixing it up. That's what I like about her and Serena also. They are not afraid to experiment and hit shots maybe that they're not, they know they don't hit them really great, but they still try to hit them because it's the right shot. And as a result, they're improving steadily. Those shots that they're not comfortable with, they're getting better. Particularly you see it on that forehand slice or drop shots or drop volleys. They're not afraid to go for the unusual.
50-1.
Joanna Pasquale did the same sort of thing to Venus's kid sister Serena yesterday. Really moved the ball around the corners, especially when she noticed and realized that Serena Williams could not move that well. She's a good player, Joanna Pasquale, 47 in the world right now.
I like the way she just plays each point, each ball. She believes in herself. She knows what she can do. Plays within herself.
15-40.
Serena Williams was fairly graceless after her loss to Joanna Pasquale yesterday, saying of her, she had a pretty good day, but if I had been in better shape, it wouldn't have been happening at all.
I'm not so sure about that.
I don't agree with that either.
One break point gone. Well, Serena was her immodest self yesterday. She said, speaking of Venus, she might go a long way now that I'm out of the draw. I'll give her some tips, she said. We've never met on grass. It would have been interesting. Well, and it was going to be pretty exciting for England, she said. Serena versus Venus.
She said for once. Yeah, they have England in the World Cup. I don't think they really care about the Williams sisters playing against one another, but that's another story.
Well, the United States, on the other hand, would have cared.
That's some pretty heavy talking by Serena, considering she's never beaten her sister in tournament tennis.
She didn't beat Pasquale.
And she didn't beat Pasquale.
Some fine breakpoint saves from Venus Williams. Great length. From a difficult position, draws this back to deuce.
I think Joanna Pasquale thought maybe that ball was out, but it was definitely way in. Good call from the linesperson.
Good hitting from the Spaniard.
Blistering shot from both women.
Advantage, Miss Joanna Pasquale.
You can see Joanna Pasquale finishing that last point.
Earns herself another break point. Court still very, very green back towards that fence. And I think that's why Pasquale took that spill. It's not worn out back there, is it?
It never will be. It's just really soft. It's too far behind the baseline. Not enough people get there, and it's just always going to be softer. And much more cushiony and slippery as a result. And there's that forehand slice we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it looks like 1965, 1955, and even in 1975 we were still using this high to low slice. The swing imparts the spin. So if you hit high to low, you'll get an underspin.
Point by both players. Finally, Venus makes her way to the net, and Pasquale, undaunted, fantastic angle shot, and even Venus with that stretch and that reach can't get that ball. Pasquale is a player.
Venus goes down.
Well, those brown patches where there's a lot of dirt, not too much grass left, where we tend to slip and slide.
See if Williams can slip out of this breakpoint chance. Nice stuff. Back to deuce. Verona Pasquale thought that Venus missed big, but there's no overrule. This is an absolutely vital game for Ruano Pasquale. She doesn't want to get down three games to love. A break here would put things right back on serve, and you do not want Venus to gallop ahead of you and go away. Another chance.
Advantage Miss Ruano Pasquale. Let's first serve.
First serve and volley attempt by Venus Williams in this match. She did promise she was going to be more aggressive and come to the net more. She promised that, and she said, "I've not been keeping up with that." Is an exact quote. "I've made empty promises," Venus said. "I said I was going to be at the net and nothing was going to stop me. I definitely should, but it doesn't mean that I will." So she knows she ought to.
She's 5 for 7 at the net so far in the match. Encouraging numbers. There is the break, right back on serve. 1-2 in the first set of this fourth round match, and Venus Williams has had a pretty comfortable time getting into this fourth round, beating the Canadian Jana Nejedly in round 1, and then the Austrian Barbara Schett. It was against Schett that she struck a 125-mile-an-hour all-time big women's serve. Then she beat the American Chanda Rubin in straight sets as well. That finished yesterday.
Well, it's nice to see Chanda Rubin playing better and better, slowly but surely, after having that wrist trouble back in 1996. She went through wrist surgery.
And right before Ruana Pasquale, the woman kneeling down, a photographer, Carol Newsom, an old friend of the women's tour. She's been traveling. My God, I remember her from the 70s.
Time.
Oh, so do I. And before.
And she's an excellent photographer. And when she says just one more, Martina, she means it.
Packed crowds trying to watch Venus Williams advance. Last year, Venus Williams arrived at Wimbledon amid all kinds of hoopla and lost in the very first round. 1 year later, a very different story. At the beginning of last year, Venus was ranked 204 in the world. In the last year and a half, she has not only made the top 10, but she has twice beaten Martina Hingis.
Let's listen.
Venus says she wasn't here last year.
Yeah, she's in total denial about last year's first round loss.
She means she was here physically, but not mentally and emotionally.
She's been watching too many soap operas. It was all just a dream.
Love 15. Love 30.
That was a beautiful backhand by Ruana Pasquale off a deep shot. Set up the point, then she could come in on the forehand. Oh, we didn't see the point, that shot that really set up that forehand. She's really got all the shots. A typical clay courter that could play on any surface. Really good all-around player. Again, the serve, probably the weakest part of her game. Could make it more of a forceful shot.
15-40.
And women able to really get into an offensive position of their opponent's second serve much more than the men.
Game is Williams.
There is the break right back for Venus Williams.
Miss Williams leads 3-1.
Real mental letdown from Ruana Pasquale after doing so well to break Venus. It's not an easy thing to do.
She had to work so hard to get that break, but then only got one first serve in that following game, and you're not going to hold your serve with that second serve and that lower percentage of first serves in. So yeah, mental breakdown, definitely.
15-9.
Almost identical first serve percentage, but Venus Williams winning many more points directly off the serve. For Pasquale, she more or less just gets the ball in play. a serve and volley by Venus Williams, all right? It's the fourth time she's tried it, but the first three times first two times she missed the first serve, and then the third time the girl didn't get the ball back. So finally we got to see her hit a first volley.
She's up 4-1.
Not too much privacy out there on the court. You see those photographers right in your face.
Yeah, not an easy place to gather your thoughts, huh?
Well, that's why I'm surprised more players don't turn their chairs, you know, facing the court, because then you're putting some space between yourself and the audience, and most of all between yourself and the photographers. There, that guy is 5 feet from her, if that. And she can hear the clicking going on.
Maybe she likes her profile.
Maybe she likes her profile. Maybe she wants to show off her new earrings. I don't know. Maybe that's what was in the Tiffany box we saw last week in her racket bag. I mean, Serena did say she went shopping and bought lots of stuff. I'm sure Venus went with her.
Virginia Ruana Pascual in early trouble in the first set of this fourth round match against the number 7 seed, the American Venus Williams.
Love 15.
Yeah, Ruana Pascual now gets her first serve in, and look what she gets. An outright winner from Venus Williams off her first serve. Venus Williams coming to the net on her own, choosing. Sort of a delayed approach, great split step, nice backhand volley down the line. That's how it's done.
Billie Jean, you and I were watching Lindsay Davenport play the other day, and you were just remarking that Lindsay's so big off the ground. You were saying that a lot of baseliners come to the net one shot too late.
Yes.
I think that's such an interesting observation.
Out.
30-40.
What happens, they'll be in a rally, and they'll see the shot, and they'll go, oh, I should have been in. So whatever shot they get next, they go in. And sometimes they'll get past and not realizing they have to wait. There's, you see the net points won. 8 for 10 for Venus Williams. Can you imagine? She should be up the net all the time. All that height and reach.
Do you like how Venus decides to come into the net, or does sometimes she hesitate as well?
Sometimes she hesitates, but I think she's got a very good sense of when to go in. I think she could go in more often. And why not serve volley with the 125-mile-an-hour serve?
Whoa, that's out of here.
No, you gotta love it because Venus is going forward.
Yeah, got a little Homer happy on that one.
That's okay.
But that's okay.
Because it keeps her attitude positive. And she's in a pretty comfortable position right now. But
that was a double off the wall.
I actually kind of like that shot, the way she did that. She just totally, if you're going to make a doozy, go for it, you know, like she did.
If you're going to miss big.
Miss really big.
Game is Ruana Pascual.
That one in the net, so Ruana Pascual holds on. 4-2.
Venus Williams leads 4-2.
But yeah, Venus Williams, I think, could come to the net more, but when she does come, she comes in at the right time. She doesn't come in on the wrong shots, unlike some baseliners, like Billy was saying, they just make up their mind on the next shot they'll come in, whether it's the right time or not. So she does have better court sense.
I also think she's got such great range that she can handle a lot of tough volleys.
All she has to do is stick her hand out.
Replay the point.
Oh, boy, this umpire is messing up. You should not be overruling, and if she does overrule, then it's a winner because she had no play on the ball.
But did you play a winner from the best line? You don't replay the play?
Andrew Wynn in the chair.
She didn't touch the ball.
And I've had it before, and he's a bit overall happy. And that was the wrong decision there. Because what he's saying is that the ball was good, and that the call by the linesperson hampered Venus Williams, that she would have gotten the ball back if there had been no call, which absolutely she had no chance to get that ball back. So either way, one of the players must win the point. You do not replay it. Anyway, that's how I saw it.
Most where the umpires take responsibility. 20 seconds for points won.
Low for both.
Whoa.
Love 15.
Well, both of these do pretty well off the serve on the return. So you got to respect that. They serve well.
Love 30.
Because Verona Pasquale on second serve points won is 0%. We don't know if that's 3 second serves or 10 second serves. So that's a little too early to tell. We don't have the total numbers.
I sense that Venus has lost her concentration just slightly on the last 2 or 3 points. Let's see if she regroups here. No?
Now is that overall?
She needs to just slow down. She's been rushing a little.
Because no matter how bad a decision the umpire made, it's only 1 point, and now she's lost 3 points because of one bad call.
Ruano Pasquale still is not able to convert. When she needs to, she's now 1 for 7.
Let's press it.
On break points.
On break points. Can't quite finish.
That's about the numbers Tana Sugaran had against Hingis.
Let's see what happens here. She has another opportunity.
Game is round of Pasquale. Ball change, please.
She lost her concentration a little bit.
And that makes things right back on serve for Ruano Pasquale.
4 games to 3 first set.
Log into HBO's Wimbledon website. It's hbo.com/Wimbledon. At your fingertips, you'll find scores of all the matches, complete match statistics, chats with our expert commentators, the fabulous Joel Drucker writing, and much, much more.
I think they should talk to the doc, Leo.
Dr. Leo Levin, here for HBO.
He helps us every day. He makes us look great. He's got it. He's got it as far as how every player plays.
He's a man.
He's the one we all fly to and say, help us. So let's give him some credit.
Let's give credit also to Virginia Ruano Pasquale, who's hanging tough against the power play of Venus Williams. Pasquale beat Serena Williams yesterday, and the only person who has beaten both Serena and Venus Williams in the same tournament is Arantxa Sanchez-Vaccaro. She did that earlier this year in Sydney, taking out Serena in the semis and Venus in the finals. Now, Martina Hingis at the Lipton beat Serena, though Serena had a few match points, but then lost to Venus, who ended up winning the title. Back on serve in this first set of this 4th round match between Spain's Virginia Ruano Pasquale and Venus Williams.
Love 15.
This match is getting a little ugly. And conversational.
It's contagious, those double faults. Pasquale starts fast on her service motion, and then she slows it down. You need to go the other way, slow to fast. See, quick. and then she doesn't really accelerate again.
Yeah, she decelerates.
Love 30.
And once again, after breaking serve, Ruano Pascual not quite mentally with it. Double fault and then, you know, nothing ball.
Neither one of them is with it right now. Talk about your 0 for 2.
Love 40.
Unforced errors. Last couple of games.
Getting kind of grisly.
It happens. And you know it when you're playing, and you keep trying to regroup before each point.
Game is with
Boy, that was that ugly.
That's a total
Williams
gimme
leads
game
5
by
games to 3.
Ruano Pascual.
I'm a little bit surprised that Venus Williams is not playing cleaner, although she really just had that one bad game and is now serving for the first set. Sometimes Venus Williams will make herself lose matches, but I didn't think she would feel the pressure today. And perhaps she can shake it off. That looks pretty confident.
I think except for probably a game and a half, Venus has played exceptionally well. And
yeah.
In this latter part of the match, she's now coming to net as promised.
More.
Oh, look at that.
Again, with that reach, my God, I would be up there all the time. Just leave the racket on the baseline. You know, you don't even just her threat. I mean, that wingspan of hers is awe-inspiring. I wouldn't want to have to hit a passing shot. She's opening it up on the first serve as well.
Venus should be a serve volley person, especially on the grass. No question. Just think how much better she's going to be.
I mean, she can really impose herself at the net.
And if you can serve 125 miles an hour, good God, how good does your volley have to be?
Not very. It's like Ivanisevic, you know, when he has to finally volley, well, he doesn't do it because he's not used to having to hit those volleys.
Yeah. And there it was, a love hold for Venus Williams. One shaky game, but a fine recovery, and she has grabbed the first set.
And we'll take you back for more of Venus Williams against Ruano Pascual in just a few moments. But first, let's check in at court number 18, where David Sanguinetti of Italy is taking on Francisco Clavet of Spain in a match to get to the quarterfinal. And as you can see, we arrive with Sanguinetti having taken the first 2 sets and serving at 30 love to set up match point, a chance for David Sanguinetti of Italy to make it to the quarterfinal at Wimbledon, Barry McKay.
This guy has had a great run, Jim. If he wins this match, he joins the last 8 club, and I'll be glad to welcome him to the club.
Because you're on the board of directors.
Well, I was until I stopped in there this year.
Well, that sounds like a long story. Sanguinetti in the far court. And Sanguinetti wins the match. Davide Sanguinetti, of whom Richard Krajicek, when asked if he knew anything about him, said, "I know he's Italian." Well, yeah, Richard, so do we. Beyond that, we now know he's in the quarterfinal, and he's going to be playing Richard Krajicek when he gets to that level. Made it to the last 8 club, Barry McKay. That's quite a move for the former economics major from UCLA. Now let's go back to Mary, Billie Jean, and Martina with Venus Williams.
Venus Williams has captured the first set of this 4th round match and awaits the serve of Virginia Ruano Pascual of Spain. And look at her challenging this second ball.
And however many second serves Ruano Pascual's hit, she's still 0% conversion of points. She's not won a point on her second serve, and she must be feeling that. So I think that's why she double faulted that last game twice.
She's She's only getting every other first serve in. So that's not good.
But there was an excellent second serve. Ruano Pascual took a little extra time and collected herself before she served that second serve. She had a sense of more commitment to it. Rushing on that first serve. Just wants to get it over with. Terrific get from Venus Williams, I thought, just to keep her in the point. Right here, look at that. Just getting her racket way out in front of her body to get to that let cord. And of course, that's set up for Ruano Pascual to pass. Still not that easy to pass under those circumstances. Oh, Venus Williams is showing me a lot today. It's fun. I've been able to watch these players so much more during this fortnight and really get to know how they think and how they play. And I'm more impressed with Venus Williams
than Serena, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I am. Yes, I am.
By far.
Now I am, because I got to really see both of them play a lot.
Because, you know, the buzz, a lot of the publicity is that, including from Richard Williams, the father of these kids, that Serena is the one to be more feared, that in the coming years she's going to be the one.
Not for me.
Yeah, we all, I think that Venus competes a lot better.
She thinks better. And she competes. Right now, Serena Williams is talking up the storm, but she's not backed it up. Venus Williams is talking the talk and walking the walk.
Boy, that first serve is all over the place. That toss drifting all over Ruano Pascual's head.
Game is Ruano Pascual.
But she holds on. And there she is. The check swing.
Practicing, rehearsing.
Smart to do. She takes the first game of this second set. We talk about the Williams sisters, and obviously they've still got so much tennis to play. Serena, only 16 years old. Here's some numbers from that first set, and Venus Williams serving an awful lot better than Ruano Pascual, and again, her serve is much bigger. Though the second serve numbers aren't too impressive on either side.
Not good at all. Venus Williams being at 36%. You want to be at 55%, at least in that second serve points won. And I think if Venus could see these stats, she would really want to work on that. She knows she needs to improve her second serve.
It's so much different from her first. I mean, her first is up in the 120s. Her second is often in the 60s and 70s.
But look at the potential, because her first serve is fabulous. Needs to incorporate kind of more of the sameness in her second serve.
Swing just as hard, just put more spin on the ball, and she's going to be in the 80s, maybe even 90s, with a second serve that's going in most of the time.
Packed house out on court 2, watching Venus Williams.
15 left.
It's impossible to resist the urge to compare Venus with Serena.
Fabulous.
30 left.
Developed that point perfectly. I think the volley could have been a little bit better, not, you know, quite up the middle, but at this age,
yeah,
it's beautiful to watch.
Is there that much, stylistically, there's not that much difference between the two sisters, I suppose?
Oh, I think they really have their own signature because of their body type. Body type really dictates a lot of how you're going to play. Serena has a little lower center of gravity than Venus.
30-50.
Going to look as if she moves better. But here you see Rano Pascual do a good job. Venus guessed wrong. Wouldn't have mattered anyway.
But the fact that Venus Williams got that first ball back, I thought it was a winner, and she still made Rano Pascual hit one more shot.
Exactly.
Nope.
40-15.
Boy, Venus is really forcing the issue now.
Taking it to her.
Boy, she could start out a match like this. Can you imagine how well she's going to do?
Don't you like, Billie Jean, that Venus has been saying, I'm coming in, I'll use the net. And it's only at the end of the first set, when it really counts, did she do it? What a lovely instinct. And on an ace, Venus Williams draws things even.
That could have been 125. That was smoking pretty good.
We don't have a jugs gun out on this court, too. Only on the 2 show courts.
They should cover more courts with that speed gun, to be fair to all the players. Because it may be the fastest serve in the world. Nobody knows about it because it happened on court 12.
And to be fair to us, so we can do a better job of reporting.
Love 15.
And because her anchor is so wide, she's so tall, she doesn't really have to move much to get up to the ball. She just turns her shoulder, and she's got a lot of room to maneuver in. Great stuff! Love it. Gotta love it.
This is fabulous.
Too. Venus sort of invited to the net, but she came in and hit a good volley. Awkward shot, good hands. That's where playing mixed doubles and doubles has helped her. Look at that, because she was going to her right, and she got the racket back to the back end. Most people wouldn't even bother getting the racket back there.
But look how well she stood over her feet. Her back was straight, totally over her feet, racket in front, ready to respond and react quickly.
It's everything we believe in. By the way, Venus Williams and Justin Gimelstob are going for a mixed doubles Grand Slam this year. They won the Australian Open mixed and the French, and are competing here as well. Yanked on that backhand a little bit. Did either of you ever have a mixed Grand Slam going?
I never played all the Grand Slams in 1 year, so
Why not, Billie Jean? That might have been a good idea for you.
Because in our day, we weren't really worried about winning Grand Slams. We were worried about doing our Virginia Slims tour and making women's tennis grow. Really, Grand Slams were not the big deal back in the early 70s that they are now.
Yeah, in my day, the Australian Open, for example, it was a separate event. Women played away from the men, and even when it was a together event, we still had no mixed doubles. So in my heyday, there were about 5 or 6 years where I had no opportunity to play the mixed doubles in the Australian.
No, we were really trying to take tennis to the people and create opportunities week after week for the women and for the men to make a living.
Lovely drive off the backhand from Venus Williams.
Deuce.
Means it's deuce.
Rano Pascual, if she comes to the net, she needs to get closer to the service line. You're not going to win any points from behind the service line at the net, but Venus Williams really forcing the issue.
Advantage with Williams.
Rano Pascual does not take enough time before her first serve. She actually takes a longer break before her second serve. She needs to absolutely slow down before her first serve and make a total commitment to it. This is a little bit better.
Amazing.
And she got her first serve in because she did.
But punched that volley long. Another break for a very comfortable and happy-looking Venus Williams.
Miss Williams leads 2-1.
Up a set and now up a break.
Boy, look at the racket speed. Boom. Look at that footwork. Look how she keeps on her toes, turns her shoulders, forward split step, good get. Racket, ooh, kept my racket out in front.
And you see her upper body is really at the same angle throughout the point. She's a little hunched over, but she keeps it steady, so it doesn't change the racket face, point of contact, etc., and really keeps her well in balance. She just uses her feet to get in position, not her upper body. And also being so tall and having such a reach, her strike zone is much bigger than a shorter opponent like Rano Pasquale. So she's got a much bigger area from which to hit the ball at optimum speed.
Right, she's got more leverage.
A comfortable-looking fourth-round match being put together by the number 7 seed from the U.S., Venus Williams.
Let's take a look at Venus's second serve here.
On that second serve a little bit. She doesn't really go through the ball. So looking at the rest of the point here, Rano Pasquale getting a short ball and making no mistake with that one.
15.
Here's Rano Pasquale handcuffed against the baseline, and she still got rushed off that Williams forehand.
I would have liked to have seen Venus hit that ball in the air, but you know, when you got a bazooka like that, why take chances? You might as well let the ball bounce.
Yeah, you have choices. Nice problem.
Yeah. What kind of winner should I hit?
Should I let this one bounce, or should I take it in the air? And both will be winners. I'd like to see Venus not just slice her second serve all the time. Needs to learn.
She could kick. She could get a great kick off of that.
Exactly. See, it's basically just a slice that bounces short. Oh, it's beautiful.
Great first volley. The approach wasn't that good, but Rano Pasquale didn't do enough with the passing shot, and Venus hit the forehand volley really nicely. This one right here, look at that, right in front. Look at her getting down with those long legs, beautiful, and now she's in position to win the point.
Woo! Well, that's Rano Pasquale's best shot of the day.
30-all.
Unleashing on the backhand. This time she is going to come over the ball. Whew.
Nice racket speed on that. You saw the whip.
Isn't that exactly like a whip? Right.
40-30.
But Venus takes it right back again. Forces the issue. Really has started coming in a lot more after about 5-3 in the first set.
Venus did not like that toss. Good idea.
That one was a little low.
That's more like her second serve on that one than her first. Let's see if she corrects it. She's standing farther to her left as well. It's better.
Deuce.
that's a good miss. I think if you overhit on the baseline by a couple inches, that's okay. It's the ones that out wide that you really want to keep it in closer to the sideline. Boy, that ball had a lot of spin on it. Rana Pascual let it go, thinking it was going to go out. We all thought it was going to go out. I don't know if she mishit it a little bit.
She framed it on the bottom of her racket, on the bottom part of her racket head. That's why she was smiling. Venus had a little giggle, like she knew she was lucky. Still, she made it.
Oh, yeah. And not only does she run to the open court, she ran the angle. She closed, so she really cuts the angle on.
3 games
Hitting
to 1.
drop shots against Venus, I don't know if that's a great idea. Look at that. See how she cuts the angle diagonally? If she ran straight across, she would not have been able to get to that ball.
Got a nose for the net, doesn't
Good court sense, really good instinct up there. I like the way she plays at the net.
Oh, this is awesome. I'm thrilled. This is so much fun to watch. I just think, how much better can she get? You know, that's, you know.
Billie Jean, what is the answer to that? Answer your own question.
I don't know. I think she's definitely #1 potential. There's no question.
Is her sister #1 potential?
I've made my mind about Serena. I haven't seen her play as much, but so far, Venus has played much more competitively than Serena. But everyone around me keeps saying I'm wrong, so I'm still going to go out on a limb, and I think Martina and I have discussed it. We think Venus is better.
15 all.
What do you think, Mary?
So far, I've just seen, I haven't seen Serena Williams play as much as I've seen her big sister play. And the few times I have watched her play, I've seen Serena get tight. She did it at the French Open. She did it at the Lipton. And again, she's still so young. There's certainly no reason to think she can outgrow that, Serena Williams, because she doesn't have a lot of match experience in her.
She can't afford it too many more matches, because it really starts to eat away and chip away at your self-confidence.
Like she had at the French Open.
Yes.
Against Arantxa Sanchez-Vicario at the Lipton, she had a couple of match points against Hingis. So then you develop a locker room reputation like Jana Novotná has been suffering under for years as someone who choke.
Yeah, and the players hang in harder. They just never give up. They always think there's always a chance or an opportunity that you may not quite cut it when it gets close and tight. Venus is inside the baseline on both of those. She's just incredible how she can stand and time the ball so well.
Oh, look at that.
Well, that's what we were talking about.
That Venus Williams could hit that aggressive a shot from that defensive position explains an awful lot about why she is so tough, and she is now up a set and 4-1.
And developing a reputation for being not a good closer, something like that, it takes a lot longer to shake than it does to develop. You know, it takes just a couple matches to get that reputation, and it takes years to get rid of it.
Yeah, Ivan Lendl, a case in point, and we'll talk about him. We want to go back to what happened yesterday between Virginia Ruano-Pascual and Serena Williams. In that match at 1-all, game point for Serena Williams, she takes a nasty spill from which she could not fully recover for the rest of the match. A calf strain is what it was diagnosed at, and though she tried to play on, she was serviced a couple of times. On the changeovers, her calf was wrapped, but eventually, down a set in 4-1, Serena Williams threw in the white towel. And because of that, she is not today playing her sister. Jana Novotná advanced earlier today against Irina Spurlea. Novotná continues to impress, so she is waiting to see who she will play, and it sure looks like it's going to be a Novotná-Williams quarterfinal, and that's worth watching.
Love 15. 15.
Talking about being able to close, and Yvonne Lendl labored under that horrible reputation for years as someone who could not win a major until he finally won the '84 French Open against John McEnroe.
And he shouldn't have won that.
McEnroe choked.
Right. McEnroe ran out of gas.
But from then on in, Yvonne Lendl was on a total tear. It changed his whole career. And that's why I'm more than willing to give Serena some time.
Yeah, it's way too early to tell. But what I found strange on that injury, that Serena waited 7 games before she got help from the trainer. So you wonder if the injury got worse, or if she maybe didn't know she could get the trainer, or what was the deal? Or maybe she didn't think it would help to get a trainer.
And afterwards, she kind of blew off the pain. I mean, she didn't make it seem like it was a terrible injury either. Very strange yesterday, I thought. Very nice stretch. Look at that. Condor-like reach.
Oh.
40-50.
Great wingspan.
How much fun would it be to coach Venus Williams and just tell her to go forward? Look at that wingspan that we've mentioned throughout this match.
Women's tennis has never seen such a combination of power and height and agility. And she's just getting started.
1 game away from Jana Novotná in the quarterfinals.
I know when I was 13 years old and finally had my first chance to see Althea Gibson in person in Los Angeles at the Los Angeles Tennis Club. Can you imagine if you're a young girl today and get to see Venus Williams? But Althea was so intimidating. She was very tall, very fluid, and went to net on everything, had a big topspin serve. And for those days was powerful. Venus reminds me of just being a 21st century Althea Gibson. Just more powerful and stronger and all the things that all the young players are today. But it's very exciting to watch.
If you two are excited, two living legends are excited, I guess maybe I should get excited too.
I'm very excited.
Okay. 12-15.
Oh, look at that.
Terrific
improvisation.
I'm excited too. This woman could change the face of the sport, really.
That's what each generation does. You did it for your generation, Martine.
Yeah, you didn't do much, Billie Jean. You know, that was kind of disappointing. You never made a mark on the sport, but, you know, we're having you here anyway.
That's the kind of, each generation's job, to push the next generation to do a little bit better.
It'll take a lot to push you off the curve. 15-30.
I just still love the way she hits it, even when she misses it.
That court slopes there a little bit. I remember playing on that sideline, and you always miss it wide. You think you're going inside the sideline, and you miss it by a couple of feet. She was a little late anyway, so she missed it by more than normally. But if that court hadn't been sloped, that ball might have gone in.
So what did you try to kind of like get your sights in a little more down the middle?
4 feet inside the sideline. I'd give myself at least that much.
Double fault. Well, Venus Williams won't have to get used to court 2 any longer. She's moments away from a quarterfinal matchup with Jana Novotná. What do we think of that? Novotná twice a finalist here at Wimbledon. Can she stop this? What a match that will be.
I can't wait. This is going to be terrific.
The only way Jana Novotná can stop Venus Williams is if she gets her off balance enough, if she just junks her enough, which...
Find out. Venus Williams
6-3, 6-1.
Has advanced 6-3, 6-1 in just about 1 hour.
All right, thank you, ladies. And so Venus Williams moves forward into the draw. And now the women's quarterfinal draw is complete. As in the last quarterfinal to be filled, Venus Williams will take on Jana Novotná in the section of the draw just below Hingis and Sanchez Vicario. So Another day comes to a close at Wimbledon, and with 3 more days remaining in our HBO coverage, we give you scores of the matches we brought you today. Court 1, Pete Sampras beating Grosjean of France in straight sets. Richard Krajicek likewise in straight sets over Wayne Ferreira of South Africa. A 4-set win for Goran Ivanisevic over Todd Martin of the United States. Mark Philippoussis of Australia, winner in 4 sets over Jason Stoltenberg. Huge win for Philippoussis. Jan Semmerich moves into the quarterfinal round. The Dutch journeyman beating Magnus Larsson of Sweden in 4 sets. David Sanguinetti of Italy. A lot of people will be going to their bio books to check him out after he's a straight set winner over Clavet. Hingis a winner in straight sets. Likewise, Yana Novotna and Arantxa Sanchez Vicario is the only one of the women quarterfinalists stretched to 3 sets. And Venus Williams, as you saw, an easy straight set winner over the woman who had banished her sister, Virginia Ruano Pascual. Heroic on camera upcoming from John Lloyd while his beloved England is playing at this moment in the World Cup. But let's talk about Venus Williams and the speculation now that she could actually conceivably win the tournament. In the toughest of all possible circumstances, John, she would have to beat Novotna, Hingis, Sellas back-to-back to do it. Conceivable?
Well, possibly. When I looked at her play last week at Eastbourne, I thought she was going to have an early loss this year at Wimbledon because she didn't look impressive, but she's got so good. Every match she's played, she's got better and better. And I'm looking forward to the Novotna match. I think she's going to get through Novotna, but I don't think she's going to get through Hingis.
I totally agree with you. I think Hingis is going to win that match as well, but there are a lot of people on the grounds of the All England Club who would say, John, Lamps, you don't know what you're talking about. Venus Williams is going to go through Hingis this time like water through a sieve. Well, we'll all wait and see. And in the meantime, you can watch our highlight show tonight, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific time, hosted by Mary Carrillo. And tomorrow's match coverage will be noon to 5 p.m. Eastern, 9 to 2 Pacific. Thursday and Friday, our semifinal coverage will be from 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Incidentally, Mary Carrillo's special guest on the set tonight is Billie Jean King. Stay tuned immediately following today's coverage for Hero on the East Coast and Speed 2 Cruise Control on the West Coast. And be sure to be with us later tonight for the HBO original movie When Trumpets Fade and our newest series, Sex and the City with Sarah Jessica Parker. World Championship Boxing is back on July 18 in a unification bout. Light heavyweight champions Roy Jones and Lou DeVal meet, and in a rematch of one of the better fights of 1996, Kevin Kelly, featherweight, takes on Derek Gaynor. Don't miss it, live on HBO. At Wimbledon today, a look back at the top stories. Brilliant play again from Venus Williams as she gets to her first Wimbledon quarterfinal. Excellent play from Goran Ivanisevic as he seeks the championship, which has so far eluded him. Twice a finalist and a loser in the past. Richard Krajicek looking to win the tournament for a 2nd time in 3 years, but he has a questionable knee going into his quarterfinal match with David Sanguinetti. A winner today, though, over Ferreira. The executive producer of HBO Sports is the estimable Ross Greenberg. Coordinating producer of Wimbledon is Rick Bernstein. Today's telecast produced by Dave Harmon and directed by Mike Sheehan. Associate directors Dave Leaps and Harold Heck and Adam Berger. Associate producers Max Siegel and Thomas Odelfeld. Assistants to the producer Lisa Bennett and Matt Boland. Production managers John McCallie and Holly Peterman. Technical supervisor Bob Hunter. Technical director Jonathan X. For all of us from the All England Club tonight, I'm Jim Lampley. Thanks very much for being with us. We'll see you again tomorrow.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports, the network of champions.